beautiful people, welcome if you're new to my channel, and welcome back, lovely community, if you've been here before. And we have got a really exciting one this time. I want to say a couple of things. I'm trying this mic out for the first time, so I don't know how good the audio is going to be. I'm also apologise to all of my Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I did do a dive into the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard karma, past life and karma situation, and that was waiting to be edited, and then all this stuff came up. Obviously you can see this is another tarot read. All this stuff came up about Velma and Mindy Kaling and Rik and Morty creator Justin Roiland, and I really wanted to look into these because it's like, oh, I absolutely want to know what's going on with these two people. Now, somebody's asked me to look into Andrew Tate as well, and I do think there's, I think there's something else going on with Andrew Tate as well. I think the Umbrella guy did a video about one of the women who accused Andrew Tate has been caught doing something like this before, and I was like, okay, well, we've seen all this before, especially with Johnny Depp. What they do is, when they get caught out, they just say, well, one of these people is lying. I'm not saying they are or they are. I mean, I haven't looked into it yet, but I don't know. It just looks a bit dodgepot to me. I don't know. That's why I want to look into it. But also, somebody did ask me to look into Hunter S Thompson and Amber Heard. Now, I've never heard of this guy, and apparently he's the guy that wrote the book The Rum Diaries, which was the film, I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, where Amber Heard actually met Johnny Depp. And I kind of had a look in, and apparently he's been accused of domestic violence. From what I saw, and I didn't look into it very deeply, it was a pretty strong case. So I'll have a look at what's going on with those two as well. Now, last time I was asked, oh, where's this part of the reading? Because I tend to, like with this reading, I tend to jump around different topics. So what I'm going to do is, same as my pick a card readings, I'll try and remember to put the timestamp in. If you don't want to, now if I forget and you don't want to watch the whole thing and you just want to go straight to the timestamp, just remind me, and I'll try and put the timestamp in. Now, if I didn't already, apologise. I'm sorry about any noise going on in the background. As soon as I come in here to record, all of a sudden, as if by magic, the builders next door decide they're going to start building, and my cat decides she's going to start shouting. Now, she's an elderly little cat. She just wanders around and just sort of yowls. So if there's any noise in the background, I apologise. There's not much I can do about it other than put this video off, and I don't want to do this because I really want to know what's going on with this Mindy Kaling and this Velma thing, and this what was the other thing, the Rik and Morty guy, Justin Roiland, as well. So let's get right on with it. Right, so the first thing I want to look at is this Mindy, what's her name? Mindy Kaling, and she's done this thing with called Velma, and it's apparently it's a take on Scooby-Doo. And now, I've not watched this thing, but I've watched a lot of YouTubers watching this thing and critiquing this thing, and I agree with 99%. I agree with all of them, actually. This is an absolute shit show. Now, I never heard of Mindy Kaling before, but I do remember, because I have a really bad relationship with technology. Technology just blows up around me, so I tend to just buy the cheapest technology there is. So I have, my tablet is an Amazon, Fire thing, and so there was a while ago, a few years ago, where every time I turned on the tablet, it would come up advertising these books And I'm absolutely positive it was by this woman, this Mindy Kaling. And I know she's an author. And, well, that's a red flag in itself, isn't it? If Amazon are pushing her book. But now she's involved with this animation called Velma, which is, I'm an old person, as everybody probably knows. And I used to watch Scooby-Doo when I was little, and when my kids were growing up we used to watch Scooby-Doo. Is it Mystery Incorporated, the newer one? But I know Warner Brothers are not good, and I know that, but still, whether Scooby-Doo's good or not, I'm just going to do a reading on this Mindy Kaling first, because I want to know whether she's a white hat or a black hat. I want to know, I'll ask later on about the Velma thing, but I want to know about her first, because I just got really, really bad vibes off this woman. She was being pushed by Amazon. As far as I know, she grew up in a very wealthy household, which is always a sign, isn't it? Not guaranteed, but and now she's doing this Velma thing. Now, I do want to say that now this is very surprising, actually. This is very, very, very surprising. I am not seeing any black hats in here at all. And I am seeing white hats. And I'm seeing a change, a turnaround for her. And she's celebrating something with the white hats. Now, that is absolutely shocking to me. And I'm still very reluctant to let go of the fact that she was a black hat at all. And here we've got love in here. I wonder whether she's made this film, whether she really believes this is a good thing to do. Or maybe this is part of the white hat agenda. Wow, this is absolutely blown my socks off. I'm really not prepared to let go of the fact that she was at some point a black hat. Let me ask that question. Has Mindy Kaling ever been a black hat? There's nothing here to suggest that she has. Or even that she was playing both sides. Wow, I am absolutely astounded. I have no doubt that this is a white hat op, this Velma. And sitting and thinking about it now, I can kind of understand. Maybe I can kind of understand why. Yeah. I would wonder, something's going to happen to her though. Here, look. She's looking forward, and then looking forward or looking backwards, and things are going to fall apart for her. I wonder whether this comes down to the question of who exactly is Mindy Kaling. From that, I would wonder whether this is either an actress taking the face of Mindy Kaling, or whether this maybe is a clone that's being used for this. Let's have a look. Is the Mindy Kaling that is involved with Velma, is that Mindy Kaling the original Mindy Kaling who came to the public eye, I assume would be the question. Is that real? Is that the original Mindy Kaling? There is nothing here to suggest to me that she's a clone or an actress. I'm absolutely stumped now. I was not expecting this at all. We've got the children card here. Ah, I wonder whether she was brought into a black hat family, but she wanted out quite quickly. So she never really bought into it, but she was asked to play the game. And this has been a real gift to the white hats. That's the only thing I can gather from that. Let's have another look at this, because this has absolutely stumped me. I thought this was going to be a clear, cut and dry reading here with her being a black cat. Let's have a look at actual Velma. Who is in charge of Velma here? Because we know Warner Brothers are dodgy, but we know Warner Brothers have probably been taken over recently by the white hats anyway. But who is in charge of this? Who is in charge? Oh my goodness, what about that for the first card? White hats. Yeah, I kind of got a hint about this in the first reading. The white hats are getting really frustrated with how slow things are going, and wanting to kind of round this up and bring this to a head. And I really do think that this is their opportunity to do so. Make that fresh start and walk away from everything, from the lies and deceit. Yeah, make that fresh start and walk away from the lies and deceit. And I get that is how they're doing this. Now, I was going to say before I started to lay the first cards that I get that what the black hats do, their aim is to create division within society. Because when we're arguing about religion, about race, about sexuality, about gender, about, did I say religion? Probably. If we're arguing about this and this splits us up as human beings, if we're focusing on fighting each other and arguing with each other, then we're not working as a unity, and we're not working towards our spiritual awakening. And I do get that Velma kind of brought this to my attention. Now, I did kind of read something, although I think it was mainstream media. Yeah, it was mainstream media. They were supporting Velma, and they were saying Velma was supposed to be a retaliation against woke society and the stopping of people being able to say things that they want, that came from the hashtag Me Too movement. That's what they said. That's not, I'm not saying that's what it is, I'm saying that's what they said. But I thought that kind of made me think, well, you know, I do kind of get that, because obviously it was the black hats that originally oppressed women in the first place. And then obviously at some point, just like with the Black Lives Matter movement, women took things into their own hand. Black people took things into their own hand and said, right, we don't want to live like this, and this is not how it is. This is not how it's going to be. And then the black hats jumped on that, as we saw with the, what was her name, Candice Owens thing, and the White Lives Matter, kind of jumped on that and kind of overtook that and are using that. So by creating and then using this, creating even more division. So it's like, well, if we create a difficult situation, and then we, like with the Jews, well, if we oppress a group of people, like with the Jews, I've already discussed this, and then we create a resistance against that, there is a resistance against that, and then we jump on that and take that too far, then there'll be a division in society, and people will be divided, and their attention will be divided, and they'll be so busy arguing about the stuff that's been created, and obviously the black hats make it so confusing that there's all kinds of millions of different arguments that you can have, that people aren't focused on awakening. People aren't focused on getting into alignment. People are focusing on the division within society, and I really do get that here, and that's the only explanation that I can give for this, that Velma is purposely meant to be a shit show. And I mean, I did want to discuss some of the things on it. It was like it's just so crass. And it's like, well, crassness isn't humour, is it? You can have crass humour, like with Rik and Morty. And I'm going to be looking at that in a minute. You know, it's not that you can't have crassness and it be funny, but the crassness itself is not funny. And just saying whatever you want isn't funny either. And I guess in many ways it kind of does expose as well this whole entertainment and Hollywood thing. Let's have a look at the aim, if we can get that from the cards. Let's have a look at the aim of the white hats in doing this. I mean, obviously it's caused a stir. It's got people talking. People are like saying, this is awful. How has this been allowed to happen? And I guess right now we've got no more than this is a complex issue. This is really, really a complex issue, but I understand the white hats are dealing with a complex issue and exposing that on many different levels. And I know they're at the moment we're going drip, drip, drip response, and it's just a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. But I get that, you know, the entertainment industry is a huge part of that, and producing stuff like this, they've obviously gone for a react. Now, I'm pretty sure, it was Warner Brothers with the Pirates of the Caribbean, wasn't it? I mean, they've already been exposed for that. Was it the Pirates of the Caribbean, or was it Disney? I get them confused. It's all the same thing anyway, isn't it? They're all black hats. But either way, it's just another kind of crashing in of that. I guess the most important thing for us is not to get caught in the detail about this. However, I can't get over the fact that Mindy Kaling isn't a black hat. I mean, obviously she's had interaction with black hats. Obviously, I would imagine her family are black. So I don't know. I'm not absolutely sure. I've not looked into a family. I just heard that they were really, really rich. And that kind of makes you think, doesn't it? But not necessarily, is it? I mean, you know, look at Donald Trump. I'm not saying he never did anything with the black hats, but, you know, he's certainly not there now. But I guess what I came here to find out is Mindy Kaling a black hat? The answer I got is no. Whatever involvement she may have had, she may have been brought up in a black hat family. She wanted out as soon as possible. I get she may have played the game with the black hats on the request of the white hats. Maybe she's even a plant. I don't know. That's not an actress. It's not a clone. It is her, but she's always been on the white hat side. Is she a plant? Let's see if we can get that answer. Wow, that is absolutely shocking. But either way, the show was meant to be an absolute shit show. It was meant to dive. It was meant to ask us to raise questions about how we are being led by the media, by the entertainment, industry, by all these movement. Oh, wow, that was telling, wasn't it? That not only fell over then, but that one of the lights went out. One of my candles went out. Was she a plant? I don't think so. I really don't think so, because there's struggle and misery here. So I think that she, and there's some kind of argument going on. I really do believe that she was either born to a black cat family and got out as soon as she could, or and was asked to stay as a double agent, if you like, I suppose is the word, well, that's the only answer I can get from these cards. There's nothing to say that she was a black cat at all. I'm going to leave it there. If you have any more intel on this situation, or you want to ask me to ask any specific questions about this, then please do let me know. But I'm very surprised at that answer. And it did occur to me earlier. It did occur to me earlier how I was talking about crassness and crass humour, and I was thinking about how linked that was to Rik and Morty, because obviously Rik and Morty uses quite a lot of crass humour, but it is funny. Even I like Rik and Morty, and I don't know who owns Rik and Morty. Oh, that was it. It was that comic network, wasn't it? And I think they're owned by Warner Brothers as well. Oh, sorry, Warner Brothers. Sorry, that was about Mindy Kaling as well. Warner Brothers owns Scooby-Doo, but Velma was put out by HBO Max. But Rik and Morty are owned by Warner. They're also owned by Warner. But apparently Justin Roiland, and I want to look at him first, he's been accused of domestic abuse. Now, did I look into this a little bit more? Accused of domestic abuse and sleeping with underage girls. Now, tell me if I've got that wrong. That's what I got. He was accused of domestic abuse and sleeping with underage girls because of some text messages. Some anonymous person is pressing charges. So MSN have kicked him off the show, hoping to produce it without him. That's what I got. Like I said, tell me if I'm wrong. Now, I would assume, once again, that Justin Roiland is a black hat. But being accused like this sounds like a black hat move for him, either going over to the white hat side, or the theory was given to me that it was a trick to get the show off him because they're desperate for money. But let's just have a look at Justin Roiland first and have a look into him. Whose side is he on and what's going on with him? Let's have a look at that. Once again, oddly enough, I am getting no black hats in here and I'm getting no white hats. But certainly the impression I am getting here is that he was a black hat and he's gone over to the white hat side. The reason I'm saying that is in his present line, although he seems to have choices, he's extremely happy about the situation as it is. Extremely happy about the situation as it is. So, and also he seems to be coming to a deal. So I do believe he was a black hat and he has gone over to the white hats. We've also got here carrying the lessons from the past into the future, and how things are going to change for him now. But he's very happy about the situation as it is. Is he an abuser? We're not getting that in here. it does seem rather odd that it's just another anonymous person, and this is all based on text messages or something. So let's do a completely separate spread on that. Is any of this stuff about him being abused actually true? Although obviously to get the fame that he's got, he would have had to. Now that's an odd couple of cards, isn't it? A dream and a wish coming true, and strength. I get that maybe he had to sell his soul a little bit, but he kept quite strong throughout it. And here we're getting the same thing again. It's odd, isn't it? Because maybe the worst of them have been shifted by now. And this is kind of like the people coming out who like kind of wanted an out anyway. I know there was an actor who kind of came out about this, and he was an Australian actor, wasn't he? And he kind of dodged all the parties. He said there's ways you can get round it. I'm not saying Justin Roiland did, but I can't remember who that actor's name is. If you can remember it, please put it in the comments below. But let's have a look. Did this actually happen? Because obviously what the black hats do is make you do this evil stuff and record it and then blackmail you with it, and then obviously they'll accuse you of doing exactly what they got you to do in the first place. So I'm certainly not saying he's innocent. I'm not sticking up for Justin Roiland here. I like Rik and Morty, and I've got no reason to dislike, especially from these, I've got no reason to dislike Justin Roiland, but you know, this is just tarot read. I'm not attached to the outcome at all. I would suggest that's actually the case. It's strange, isn't it? The parallels between these two, the Mindy Kaling and the Justin Roiland. I really do believe that he wanted to do what he wanted to do, and let's face it, Rik and Morty is quite an expose. Although we know they do that anyway, don't we? The black hats, they kind of like say, well, this is what we're doing, this is how it really is, and now you know it's your fault if you agree to it. That's how they do it, isn't it? But here he's playing his cards close to his chest, and he's not making any agreements. And this is all about having faith in your abilities. And I get that he was offered something perhaps that he didn't want. He went into something not really knowing how it was. He was offered something he didn't want, but he knew that he could get round it, and he just had to carry on as he was. Yeah, whether it's true or not, and I'm going to go for not true. These accusations, I'm going to go for not true. It just seems a bit too black hat for me. Like, oh yeah, he's a bad guy now. I would suggest he went over to the white hats, or he's been with them a while and it got exposed, and he's just getting slammed for it now. Wow. Oh my good lord, I was not expecting any of this at all. Right, there are two more things I wanted to look at. I apologise if this video is very long. Like I said, I'll put the timestamps in if you just want to hear one little thing. But hopefully you'll want to, like me, you'll want to hear it all. Right, let's have a look at this Andrew Tate, because we looked into Andrew Tate before, and oh, that was it. I got that he was long gone, and this whole thing was a white hat up to expose what's been going on. And I did want to look at Andrew Tate himself before I look at this thing, because I just kind of looked into the situation. I didn't kind of look into Andrew Tate himself. Who is Andrew Tate? What's going on with him, and whose side is he on? Although I'm pretty sure I already know. I've been surprised twice already today, so let's just see. There's nothing here to indicate to me that he was a black hat. I'm not saying, once again, I'm not saying that he's not. because there seems to be indications, once again, they're not saying it, but there are indications that he was. The white hats are coming in straight away and turning things around and giving him options. He kind of saw the light and juggled things for a bit, but I think at the end of the day, now in the last video on Andrew Tate, I got that he was long gone. Now somebody said, what do you mean long gone? I assumed, perhaps wrongly, that had meant that he'd been court-martial execution, blah blah blah. I would wonder whether he's still imprisoned somewhere, because the white hats he's still arguing with the white hats and fighting with the white hats here. So I don't know whether the current media are saying he's imprisoned. I know he got took into custody. They were saying that he got took into custody by the Romanian police, I think, but I personally think he got taken in a lot. From what I got from the previous reading, he got taken in a long time before that, and it was just, they were just using his face and his name to kind of expose what he'd been doing. Now, if he's in prison by the black hats, by the white hats, I don't believe for one second that can just be, and I'm not minimising what he's been accused of doing, but I'm not believing for one second that the white hats would have gotten involved with that. They would have left it to the standard police, undoubtedly. But they are very, very highly involved in this situation from what I'm getting here. Plus, to be brutally frank, everything that he did lines up exactly well with typical black hat behaviour, doesn't it? Maybe that's making an assumption, but clearly he's incarcerated, and it is by the white hats. What else did I want to have a look at? There's something else as well. Oh, that was it. Somebody said that the woman who accused him has been caught doing something else like that. That was it. Which once again is another typical black hat move, isn't it? Let's have a look at that. Who was behind this latest backlash? Because it's funny, because I was just on the news. Sorry, I wasn't on the news because I don't watch the news, but I was just on the internet earlier and something came up, and it was a mainstream media newspaper, so don't take this as serious, but they had someone was saying that the what's her name, Ghislaine Maxwell's family was saying that Prince Andrew couldn't have had relations with this girl that he was accused of having relations with in this bath because this bath was too small. I think it was the Independent, it was in the Independent newspaper. And what they'd done was they'd got two people apparently about the same size as Prince Andrew, and I can't remember I don't even know this girl's name, to sit in this bath with masks on. Like, the guy had a mask of Prince Andrew on and she had a mask of this girl on. So it's absolutely hilarious. Well, I'm not saying that kind of behaviour that he's accused of is hilarious, but the photograph was hilarious. And I kind of was like, yeah, that's just another black hat kickback to say, oh, he's innocent. Oh, I don't know whether it is or not. I'm not really that interested to look into it. We know exactly what all the royal family are up to. Trying to look into that is pointless, isn't it? But I did think, I wonder whether this woman's done it before is another kickback from the black hats. So let's have a look at this latest thing with Andrew Tate. Oddly enough, now what I got here was I got the word clone given to me then, or cloned, should I say, and I don't think it's to do with an actual clone, because I don't think they used a clone for Andrew Tate. I think they just used old media footage and obviously introduced new reports, etc. But I do think that this is similar to another situation, and I really do get that this is exactly the same as I've just said, but it's happened somewhere else as well, isn't it? That the accuser has been accused of lying. I would wonder whether eventually the information comes out about that. Well, I'm having a very strange reading today. It does seem very, very different from any of the readings I've done before. I get that maybe something shifted just generally. And I know I've got one more reading to do, but I do just want to see why are these readings so very, very different today. Now, I just got told the Black Hat's situation is so weak at the moment that there's nothing left. It's all down to the expose. Whoever of them is left, wow, that's a big one, isn't it? Whoever of them is left, and finally we get them showing up. Finally, whatever of them is left is so weak that they're just not influencing anything anymore, which is strange, isn't it? I got that, and then they're saying the Black Hats here are working on gaining strength. Oh, they've retreated. They're retreating. What are left of them are retreating to gain strength, because the situation as it is now, they just don't have enough power to affect anything. That's why they're no longer in the risk. Wow! Oh my goodness! I can't believe it. We've literally won. We have literally won. It's over. There's nothing left for them. If they've not been rounded up and dealt with, they just don't have enough power left. They don't have anything left. They don't have anything left. Let's see if it is over. Let's see if this is actually over and it's just now to waking people up. Let's do another reading, exactly the same reading. Is it now just about waking people up? Are the Black Hats finally done for? And we've got, once again, 2 of the Black Hats in here, and they've just said to me this is just an influence now. This is saying the same as last time. They're trying really, the Black Hats are trying really hard to gain enough power to hit back, and the same thing here. They're just not seeing things properly. They're not able to manifest anything because they're just too weak. They're still trying to hold on, but they're just not seeing things properly. I get there's just the last few to round up now. I really don't see any more Black Hat ops, to be honest. I hope this is not my last video. A lot of people have still got to wake up because I love doing these videos. I really do hope this is not the last video. I guess it all comes down to now just waking people up. And with the incredibly raising energies, I guess that it's not going to be long for most people to start to wake up now. Just to avoid the drama, I think, and getting dragged into any of the last dregs of whatever ridiculousness they've set. Right, I did want to have a look into Hunter S Thompson and Amber Heard. Now, like I said, Hunter S Thompson, from what I can gather, and tell me if I'm wrong because I only kind of looked into this briefly, but Hunter S Thompson was the guy who wrote the Rum Diaries, which is significant because it was on the Rum Diaries that Amber Heard met Johnny Depp, wasn't it? And apparently Hunter S Thompson beat his wife and his dog as well, and apparently that's all set in stone. I don't know whether it is, you let me know if I'm wrong, but apparently I don't know whether he was prosecuted for it, I don't know, but either way he's apparently well known as a wife beater. And he was at some point friends with Johnny Depp, and what I got was the reason that I was asked to look into this was because Johnny Depp has been like guilt by association, like, oh, you know this Hunter S, you're friends with Hunter S Thompson, so you must be abusive as well. I'm not even going to bother looking at that question because obviously that's absolutely ridiculous. We've already looked into all of that. I've done enough videos on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, although I've still got this karma one to do as well. But let's have a look into this Hunter S Thompson and where he stands in this whole white hat, black hat thing. Now, I don't know whether this guy's actually alive or dead. I didn't actually look into it. When I saw it was quite he looked quite elderly. I don't know anything about this guy at all. What's surprising is I'm not seeing anything that indicates here that he's a violent person. I'm not seeing anything that indicates that he's a black cat. However, let's just assume that they're not telling us what we already know, because my guides will do that. They'll just say, well, you already know, so why are you asking the question? I'm not saying he was a black hat, not a black cat. We know he beat his wife. That's already out there. It's well known, apparently. So this is a really positive reading, actually. I'm really, really surprised. I don't know whether he's alive or dead. Like I said, I don't know whether he's been given an out by the white hats. See, this fresh beginning, this understanding and fresh beginning here can understand on the other side of the veil. If you like, it can happen on this side of the veil as well. Let's have a look at his relationship with Johnny Depp, shall we? What is Hunter S Thompson's relationship with Johnny Depp? Because even if they were friends, it doesn't mean that it's guilt by association. Hunter S Thompson is first. Oh, he lied to him. Hunter S Thompson lied to Johnny Depp. But I don't think Johnny Depp fell for it. I think he argued with him. And this is some kind of spiritual awakening. Now, whether he had a spiritual awakening in this life or whether he was forced into a spiritual awakening, let's say by court-martial, or whether he's had a spiritual awakening on the other side of the veil, like I said, I don't know. But that's kind of what we got before, wasn't it? Things kind of turned around for him. I guess he's got a choice. Johnny Depp's got a choice with this about how he handles this, but I think he's quite happy either way. He's quite happy either way. And I think in some strange way what they're saying here is both gain strength from this connection. That could be from learning from each other. Particularly, for example, if someone meets someone who is violent and abusive, say someone's grown up in a violent, abusive home, Johnny Depp, and doesn't know that that's abuse, because we're not told that, are we? Especially back in the olden days. And then you meet someone who is violent and abusive, and don't forget this was very early on when he met Amber Heard, so that the relationship hadn't even started then with Amber Heard. That he saw something there that perhaps helped him and helped him gain strength. But then maybe by rejecting that with Hunter S Thompson, that he gained some acknowledgement as well that maybe this wasn't the right way to move forward. I'm not saying he didn't, he's just stopped, because obviously that doesn't just happen, does it? But I was asked specifically to look into Hunter S Thompson and Amber Heard. So let's see if there's anything there or if there's nothing there. I'm not sure whether they were friends. I don't think anybody mentioned it or not, but let's have a look at their relationship. And there's the white hats. So their relationship must have ended, or must end, must have ended, or must end with the white hats. And this is Hunter S Thompson's side of the reading. I get that Amber Heard over here is fighting about stuff, and I wonder very much actually whether she had to fight to get on that film. Whether she had to fight to get on that film. I get the feeling that there's a really difficult relationship between these two. Although I get they were both on the same side. When you get two huge egos together, and I'm not talking about ego, although probably I am. I'm talking about, you know, I have to win. I'm a physical body in a physical world, and I have to win, and at any cost, etc., etc. And she had to work on this a lot until it all fell apart. Wow. Well, I hope that answered all your questions. That was an incredibly fascinating, interesting reading. I don't think I've ever had a reading like that before, ever. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I also would appreciate a like, a share, a subscribe. Leave a comment if you would like to leave a comment also. And in the description below, hopefully I'll remember to do the timestamps, also is my link to my Amazon wishlist, my PayPal tip jar, and also, as always, to my membership site my website where I've got lots and lots on the membership site. I've got some merch, I've got my book, link is on there. I've got 2 different membership sites for light workers if you're interested in spiritual growth, tarot reading, meditation, that kind of thing. And thank you either way, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad you did. I hope you found this as fascinating as I did, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye.